People are going to screw up, so at the end of the day, it's up to you.
Good morning and welcome to the Chronic Pain Call-In Show, the only show about chronic pain where you can call in live. I'm your host, Josephofborg. I'm here every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Time. I look forward to talking to you.
Good morning and welcome to the Chronic Pain Call-In Show. It's good to be back. I took most of December off. I won't get into the when and why and how, but I just wanted to pop in today and discuss the idea that at the end of the day, people are going to screw up, but it's up to you to advocate and take care of your health issues, and especially when it comes to getting information from place to place. Nobody else is going to be as good an advocate for you as yourself because, quite frankly, nobody cares as much as you do about your situation. I got a few notes here. Glad to have you viewing. Appreciate you guys spending the time to visit with me this morning. So, this is a lesson I've learned over time. I've learned it, I guess you could say, the hard way. I recently went through it again when I visited a doctor where I showed up for my appointment and they didn't have any of the testing, any of my results. They didn't have shit on me since 2015 when I was last in their network. They didn't even have an accurate idea of what I was even there for. Okay. This has happened to me more times than I think is acceptable. I'm not going to pretend that I think it's okay or that I don't have an issue with it. But at the end of the day, it's one of the many things in life. I know I've been told this about marriage too. You can be right or you can get results. Okay, they're not the same thing. And if you don't get results, it only is going to be negative to you. And like I said, nobody else cares about your situation as much as you do. So I'm just going to hit a few topics I made points on. It seems amazing to me how often I'll fax something someplace and they never got it. I found that I had to kind of hold their feet to the fire in a lot of cases. I've started sending stuff through the mail with signature request cards, and it's amazing how I've literally had them tell me they don't have stuff until I say, well, I've got a signature confirmation card that says you received it 2 weeks ago. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait, I found it. I don't want to sound like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat or I'm a conspiracy theorist, but it does seem convenient that this happens far too often. My wife just went through a situation with this where they didn't have it until she called their bluff, so to speak, and told them that she had sent it registered mail and that according to the U.S. Post Office, they did receive it on such and such a date. Exactly, Jen. You've got to be your own advocate. You've got to do that. I try and shepherd uh, my referrals, stay in contact with people, and I'll probably hit on some tips for helping do that. Um, I'll try and hit some tips to make that more efficient for you before I log off. But yeah, it's happened more times than I care to count. So here's the thing. If they drop the ball, and people are human, they drop the ball, it seems to me that there must be a lot of people who are horribly inept, but I don't know. I don't try to judge. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If they don't do their job, I suffer the consequences. It's one of those things where it's not your fault, but it is your problem. Okay, so I showed up. For those of you who don't know, I had some x-rays and some imaging done. My orthopedic surgeon, who also manages my pain meds for me, thank God, wanted to send me out just to make sure we weren't missing anything to a rheumatologist. I showed up because he thought I might have ankylosing spondylitis. because I've got so many bone spurs and whatnot on my spine, on my vertebra to be specific. And I showed up. She thought I was there for gout. She didn't have any of the labs that I had had done for blood work. She didn't have any of the MRI reports. Now, I've learned this lesson, like I said, the hard way in the past. So it really is in your interest to show up ready and armed, so to speak. Get yourself a file folder. I had my MRI discs. I had my MRI written reports. I had copies of the lab results that I had printed off from the internet in hand. Now, granted, she was only able to look through them, kind of scan through them, and confront the issue that I was really there for. But if I hadn't had those things after waiting weeks to get in to see this specialist, I would have been screwed and it would have been completely for nothing. Because, like I said, she didn't even have the correct issue that I was there for. Um, so somewhere along the line, the communication and the transmitting information uh, got lost. Uh, like I said, I'm very thankful that I had it with me. She was really impressed I had it with me. Uh, go in prepared for these things. Do not trust that the information you want them to have is going to be at their fingertips. Um, because if somebody's dropped it, if things get screwed up, you're the one that's going to suffer. And we all know how difficult it can be to get in to see a doctor, how expensive it is, the time and trouble. For a lot of us, the pain issues that we go through just getting ready to go and riding in the car, whatever, to get to the doctor, only to find out they don't know what the hell's going on and they've got nothing to go on. So, always bring your meds with you. I always bring all my meds, not just my pain meds. That way I have trouble writing, okay? And that way when the nurse asks me, what meds are you on? I can just hand her my bag of meds, okay? Here's what I'm taking. That way nothing gets skipped. All the dosages are on there. If they've got any questions whatsoever, all the information's right on the label. I just find it saves me a ton of time, and in my situation, aggravation. There's no way, the average form, the boxes are so tiny, I can't write well enough to get the information in those little boxes anyway, and I don't need the stress and aggravation, quite frankly, of trying to do that. A lot of times my wife, who's my caregiver, will come to my appointments with me, and she'll come in, and if there's paperwork, she's my hand. She fills it out, she writes. She's been a great blessing to me because she helps me out with all that stuff. Um, Another thing to help you get the most out of your doctor's appointments is really simply this: try and get 2 or 3 things you want to focus on while you're at the doctor. Okay, if you go in with 15 things, be prepared. Have your poop in a group, to put it bluntly. I have gotten to the point where I will write notes, literally print them off, bring it in. I try to keep it to one page, at least a page, or I should say no more than a page. I try to get it down to a few sentences or a couple of paragraphs. What I'm there for today, what I hope to accomplish, what questions I've got. Thanks. And a lot of times I'll hand it to the nurse that takes my vitals. That way the doctor can literally be looking at it while he's walking to the room. Okay, I read recently where 6 to 8 minutes is the average amount of time that a doctor's actually in the room with you. Okay, so you need to make the most of this time. Okay, um, whether that's a good thing, bad thing, I get it. I've had some doctors that'll take a lot of time with me when I need it. Some doctors always seemed rushed, but you need to try and maximize your time. So I put it in writing. They've got it. They can look at it on the way in. If they look at it on the way, before they actually even see me, I've got them thinking about me and what's going on. If there's something they want to check, they can think about that. They can check my file. Um, it just seems to make it really smooth. I've had several of them comment how much they appreciate it, how efficient it makes things uh, for them as well as for me. And again, it's all about you getting the most out of your appointment. In fact, I even went so far when I recently changed primary care physicians, I made a video because my situation with my spinal issues, I have multiple issues and it's very complex, and to just spit it all out with a bunch of impressive sounding diagnoses really doesn't give them a complete picture of what I've got going on. So I actually went on to making a video. I kept editing it down to just the essential parts till I got it down to about 4.5 minutes. And I just told them, I said, look, I've got a lot I want to share with you to make sure I stay on topic, make good use of our time. I made a 4-minute video about what I've got going on. If you would listen to that, then you can ask me questions, and that would be great. Another thing I've learned the hard way is if you are bringing information in on your laptop, open up the tab, especially if it's something you're downloading from the internet. Open up tabs, get that shit on there before you go in, because the last thing you want is to be trying to get on their Wi-Fi, uh, struggling with your connectivity issues, trying to download stuff. Apart from the security issues of using a public Wi-Fi, when I went in with my laptop the last time, I had 4 or 5 tabs open with each of the pages with the information I wanted to see already open, so I could just go tab to tab to tab. Again, to try and be efficient. They will respect, if you have a decent doctor at all, they will respect that you have gone through effort to be ready for the appointment, to make the most of the time that you're going to have with them, because it generally is pretty limited. Um, and like I said, you're probably not going to get to cover 15 issues, okay? I try and get the 3 most pressing issues. Also, be ready. Bring yourself. I use a legal pad, and for whatever reason, my green screen effect is making it clear. But because I find it easy, I write big and sloppy. I like to use a felt tip because it stands out better than a ballpoint. Um, be ready to take notes. Depending on the state you're in, it may or may not be legal to record somebody without their knowledge. But I will ask the doctors, "Hey, can I do you mind if I record this just for my own notes, because I don't have the ability to write well? If I'm busy trying to write, I can't pay attention. Um, so do you mind if I record this meeting so that I can go back and listen to it later and I don't have to call you if I've got questions?" Um, And those are really the big ones I wanted to cover this morning. I didn't want to just talk all morning, uh, and I'm trying to keep my topics a little bit briefer. So if anybody in the chat wants to say hi, let me know. It looks like the stream might be a little bit choppy, but I think I've got my tech issues pretty much eliminated. Looks like we got 6 people watching, so good morning. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I really value you taking your time. Now, going along with this topic is shepherding your referrals and all that stuff through the system. Again, I like to use a legal pad. It gives me plenty of room to write. I use a felt tip. One of my suggestions is to possibly get some different colored felt tips. Maybe you want purple for pain management, green for your PCP. That way, if you're on the phone, you can really go through and find the information uh, that you're looking for at a glance. You're not flipping through 15 pages of pen written stuff that all looks alike. It's just a tip to help make your life easier. Um, when you're taking notes, several of the things that I find really helps me out. Um, if you're calling about referrals, when you're making appointments, when you're dealing with people at doctor's offices, a lot of these are corporate people. They may or may not be on site. Um, so I find it really helps I write down on my pad who I spoke to. Okay, this is huge because you may not get the same person. Okay, in fact, odds are pretty good if you're calling a large doctor's office, you're not going to get the same person every time you call in. Okay, get their name, try to be polite. I understand a lot of times you're calling because somebody didn't do their job. You shouldn't have to be holding their hand to get this stuff done. But again, at the end of the day, it's about getting results, okay? Um, so if you can be polite but firm, try to be friendly. Tell them good morning, good afternoon, because look, they're dealing with pissed off people all day. You want to make it your goal for them to want to do their job. I get it. It's their job. You shouldn't have to coddle them to do it. But if you're a pain in the ass or you start swearing at somebody, you can't be terribly surprised if your file goes at the end of the pile. Okay, let's be real. We know how people are. Okay, there's no, you're not going to gain anything by being irate and pissing people off. Um, when you talk to the person, get their name. Now, here's another one that's going to make your life easier. I always write down when I talk to them, date and time. Okay, what I talk to them about, couple of words for my own notes, and then before you let them go, always ask them because you do not know in advance when you're going to have to be calling somebody back because shit didn't get done, or check back because you're still waiting on your referral and it hasn't gone through yet. Um, do you have a number or an extension or a way that I can contact you or get through to you directly? Okay, we all hate dealing with the phone. Push this and this for that, and your 15 button pushes in, and you've talked to 3 people, and you still don't have somebody who can help you. And that's one of the other things that I should mention. I've got it over there in my notes is, can you help me? Are really powerful words. People like to feel useful, they like to feel like they're important. If you can phrase it like you're asking a favor. Again, I know it's the job, okay? But, excuse me, can you help me? Tell the person to try and avoid explaining your situation over and over, which drives up your frustration level, drives up your stress, just makes the whole situation less pleasant. Here's what I try and do. This is Dr. Z's office, Debbie speaking. Hey, Debbie, my name's Joe Hedrick. I want to ask you if you can help me. I'm calling about my left big toe hangnail. Okay. Now, if left big toes, hangnails, or she doesn't have the clearance, that's not her thing. Okay, she can send you on to somebody. Who you are, what's wrong, what you're trying to accomplish. Who can you send me to help me? Who can I talk to? Can you help me? Ask these questions in a tone of needing help because you do. You shouldn't, and you're pissed. I get it, but you do. You need their help. At the end of the day, they're the gatekeeper in a lot of situations. So that, and then, like I said, when you finally get to somebody who can help you, get their contact information, try and uh, form a relationship, for lack of a better term, where they know you, and that way you've got the time and date, you've got the information, you've got who you've talked to. Hopefully, you've got direct contact information. So then you can call Jenny back in 2 weeks when nothing's happened and say, "Hey, Jenny, it's Joe Hedrick. I'm calling back to check on the status of my left big toe hangnail that I talked to you about 2 weeks ago on Thursday. And you were going to send it out for a referral, but I haven't heard anything, and I was wondering, can you help me with this?" Okay? Yeah, I know it sucks. Okay, nobody. You want to reach through the phone and grab them by the neck and why isn't this done yet? It's not going to help you. Okay, I'm just being real. Again, like I said, I want you to get the most out of this that you can. Um, I think that's pretty much got it summed up. Um, for my biggest suggestions for just dealing with all this, because it's overwhelming. I mean, if you're like me, you've got your medical stuff, which involves several specialists, your PCP, your insurance. Okay, then I was very blessed that I had good long-term disability insurance through my last full-time employer. I've got them to deal with, and they've got two or three different departments. That the guy who cuts my check apparently is different from the guy who tracks my file and enters information and blah blah blah, and then it becomes overwhelming. Hey, if you've got a chronic illness, you just, whether you like it or not, you picked up a new part-time job. So um, that really is all I've got for this morning. I'm gonna just chat and visit now for just a couple more minutes, see if anybody wants to put some questions or comments in. I see we've got a couple people who have commented, so I take it the stream is up and you can hear me and everything. Um, I recently had some X-rays, which showed a bunch of bone spurs. When I went to the when I finally got in to see the rheumatologist, she says my blood work and the test results that I happen to bring with me don't show any indications that I've got any kind of a uh, autoimmune disease other than the boatload of arthritis I've got both in my cervical spine and my lower spine, which of course is, and I got the degenerative disc disease and blah blah blah, nerve compression issues. Um, hey, thanks, Jen. Yeah, it's good to be back. Dealing with a new diagnosis, or possible diagnoses, and dealing with all the nonsense of getting the referrals was really kind of started me on a spiral. And then December 2nd, we had to put one of our dogs down. And maybe I shouldn't say she was our favorite, but she's a little 3 pound dog. And we had so much invested in her, trying to keep her alive when she was a puppy, and whatnot. That just kind of added to things, and the holidays and the stress, and we had a whole lot of bad weather come through Las Vegas, or at least bad weather for Las Vegas. So that all kind of kicked my feet out from under me, and I just really needed to regroup a little bit. So um, I had to take a couple weeks off. It's just that simple. So uh, all right, well, I'm going to wrap it up then. I want to mention that I have my links posted in the description to my other pages, which are spinal cord stimulator success stories. If you're interested in spinal cord stimulators at all, I have another page called Surfing the Pain, which is more of a vlog, and I've done some videos on there. And of course, overall, if you want to contact me, you can reach out through my page, Joseph of Borg. You can call the phone number 725-333-4140 and leave a message. I finally actually put a greeting on the voicemail, and I check that 2 or 3 times a week. You can email me at josephofborg, B-O-R-G, at gmail.com. And I will get back to you. If you've got show topics, I'm always looking for people to interview and promote. If you're disabled and you do something, you've got a hobby, you've got a vlog, you've got something going on, I want to talk to you. So, with all that said, Joseph of Borg, I'm going to head out. I thank you for watching. I appreciate you spending the time. I hope you have a great rest of your day. With that, I'm out of here.